Hey guys, it's the Nintendo Nerd here, and today I will be doing something a little bit different. In addition to being a Nintendo and gaming nerd, I am, well, a nerd. One of the things I love is Marvel. Specifically, I love the MCU and the movies within it. Avengers Infinity War in particular was one of my all-time favorites, being a cultivation of nearly everything before featuring some great characters, action, and comedy. However, that ending really got me thinking about what will happen in the next Avengers movie. As most of you probably know, at the end of Infinity War, spoilers, half of the universe is eliminated and turned to dust, including some of our favorite superheroes. Kevin Feige, stop. Don't do it. Not the Spider-Man. Not the Spider-Man! There's a lot of speculation and rumors in regards to the movie, and I wanted to give my 2 cents. Today, I'm going to try and predict the permanent deaths of Avengers Endgame. First, let's talk about the things that we know for sure. We know that Thanos, Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, Hulk/Bruce Banner, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Rhodey, Rocket, Nebula, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel are all still alive. The big 3 characters of discussion are Iron Man, Cap, and Thor, but we'll get to them later. First things first, let's talk about the characters that have no chance of dying. I honestly think that there will be less deaths than most people think there will be. With that said, out of the characters that are still alive, who has 0 chance of dying? I have 5 characters that I believe have 0% chance of dying. These characters are Black Widow, Hawkeye, Rocket, Ant-Man, and Captain Marvel. Black Widow has a solo movie coming up, and I don't see it being a prequel, so she's safe. Hawkeye is the family man. Disney doesn't have the guts to kill him off. Rocket is such an essential member of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's staying. Ant-Man and Captain Marvel are both very new, especially in Captain Marvel's case, and they have a lot of potential in the future of the MCU. Heck, Ant-Man has a confirmed 3rd movie coming up. Captain Marvel is likely going to be the leader of the Avengers post-Endgame. So yeah, she's fine too. Oh, and any characters that got snapped are not permanently dead. Even Gamora is coming back. And maybe Vision. Okay, so we have the characters that have no chance of dying out of the way. Let's begin to discuss the characters that do have a chance of dying. Let's start with Rhodey, because to be honest, I don't think his chances of death are very high. His death would not be very emotional as compared to bigger characters. Rhodey is very much a well-liked character, but he's definitely more of a side character than anything else. His death would be sad and emotional, but it just wouldn't be sad or emotional enough to warrant killing him off permanently. It would be sad for Tony, but still, I just can't see it. Next up, I have to discuss the Hulk. I straight up can't decide on this guy. There are 3 ways that I can see his story ending. One is with Banner becoming the Hulk permanently for the sake of defeating Thanos and saving the world. The second is Hulk and Banner becoming separate entities with their own bodies. The last one is Banner and Hulk finally learning to live with one another and accepting each other's company. The thing is, with all these scenarios, I can see the Hulk living, but I can also see him dying in all of them as well. I'm just so torn. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think it's the Hulk's turn to bite the dust? Because I have so few characters in this video that I think are going to die, I'm going to say that it is time for the Hulk to go. I don't want him to, as there's so much potential with him, but the rights issues with the Universal may convince Marvel that killing him is the best and easiest move. It would be a big deal seeing such a powerful character go. So yeah, I'll say that he's a goner. Next up is Nebula. Who would have thought that a throwaway character in the original Guardians of the Galaxy would be one of the final and biggest players in the biggest Marvel movie to date? It's a crazy thing to think about. What's even crazier is that I think Nebula is totally a goner. Let me explain why. I don't think she's going to grab the gauntlet and reverse a snap like in the comics. The movies have always strayed away from the comics. This would be nothing new. I think time travel will come into play in bringing back the dead characters. I don't even think that Nebula will make it into the big inevitable final battle at the end of the movie. I think that she will be biting the dust as early as halfway through the film, because I think that she will give up her life to bring Gamora back. It would complete her arc. Gamora has made it clear that she does love Nebula, as she gave up the location of the Soul Stone to save Nebula's life. Nebula obviously loves Gamora too, as revealed in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Do not tell me what I want!
I don't need to tell you what you want, it's obvious!
You were the one who wanted to win, and I just wanted a sister!
Gamora wasn't snapped away, and yet I still think she's coming back. She's the only character other than Vision that I see coming back that died before the snap. How could you bring Gamora back in a believable but also an emotional way? By having Nebula sacrifice herself for the sake of bringing back Gamora. I'm not going to act like I know how this will happen, because I don't have a clue. but if Marvel has taught me anything, it's that they can do almost anything in this universe and make it seem believable. I'm confident in saying that Nebula will die in exchange for bringing Gamora back to life. Okay, now we have the big three: Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor. These were the founding 3 members of the MCU. Okay, I know Hulk technically is too, but there are a lot of complications surrounding the character in the movie. These are the characters that are well loved and also universally accepted to have the biggest chances of dying. So, let's go ahead and make this easy by eliminating Thor's chances of death, because come on guys, he's not dying. Unlike Iron Man and Captain America, who have pretty much been loved from the start, Thor only very recently became a universally loved character with Ragnarok, and Infinity War only helped. Why kill off a previously mediocre character who just became loved and a huge moneymaker for Marvel? Chris Hemsworth has even stated that he would love to come back and play Thor in future movies. Look, I know that isn't the actor's decision on where a story goes, but even though Marvel tells great stories, they are a business first. Thor has huge potential for the future of the MCU after a semi-reboot in Ragnarok. Why are they going to reinvent a character just to kill him off? I don't think they would. Did you also notice how little focus Thor has been getting in the Endgame trailers as opposed to Iron Man and Cap? Because there's no reason to focus too much on his legacy when he isn't going to die or retire. There's a lot of story potential with him now as the King of Asgard, as well as him trying to find a new home for his people. Loki died too, and while some may use this as evidence to support his story ending, I see it as a huge sign that Thor's stories will continue. Loki used to steal the show in the Thor movies. With Ragnarok, they proved that Thor can thrive without Loki taking center stage. Loki's death brings a lot of potential for Thor now being the central character in his movies, as it should be. And finally, I see Thor being the one to kill Thanos. While you could argue that Tony will kill Thanos given the fact that Thanos has been his motivation since the Avengers, Thor is the only character with any true personal stakes against Thanos pre-snap. His current arc ends with Thanos' death, and I don't see Thor dying as soon as he kills Thanos. I'm going to go ahead and be bold by saying that he will not only survive Endgame, but that Thor will also get a brand new trilogy. There, I said it. You can quote me on that in a few years when he does get a new trilogy. Okay, and the fact that I think that Thor is going to kill Thanos means that I think Thanos is going to die. I know, big shocker, right? Now, let's get to the big point of discussion and debate. Who will bite the dust? Iron Man or Captain America? Well, I'm here to say, why not both? Okay, before you get on my case, I don't think that this is going to happen. But I don't think that both of them going out can be ruled out as a possibility. They are easily the 2 biggest MCU characters and both have the biggest legacy. With that said, I don't think that both of them are going out. Only one is going to die. But who will it be? There are great arguments for both sides, but let me just tell you straight up who I think is going to die. Captain America. Now before I get too in-depth as to why I believe this, let me start by telling you why Iron Man is going to survive. Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, is the character that started it all. Iron Man was the first MCU movie ever made. If it weren't for him and the movie's success, we likely wouldn't have the MCU, especially not in its current form. Killing him off would be emotional for that reason. However, Kevin Feige has stated that this is the end of the MCU as we know it. This isn't the end of the MCU as a whole. Iron Man started the MCU. His death would be symbolic of the end of it, not the end of a phase of it. They also faked us out with Iron Man's death in Infinity War, with him getting stabbed by Thanos but ultimately living. Why fake us out if all you were going to do is kill him off anyway? Let's also take a brief look at that Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. That's right, we're looking at a movie that hasn't even come out yet for answers to another movie that hasn't come out yet. This is as meta as it gets! In this trailer, we see our typical Spider-Man trailer, with a brief story synopsis, some cool action scenes, and some funny and goofy moments. That last bit is what has me curious. Doesn't it seem a little curious that Peter and Happy are both cracking quips and don't seem saddened over the potential loss of Tony? Kevin Feige has stated that Spider-Man Far From Home takes place minutes after Endgame. So if Tony was really dead, then these two would both be feeling really upset. Granted, they could be hiding this really well in the trailers, but I don't see either characters acting the way they are in the trailers, unless Tony is alive. Heck, in the final scene of the trailer, the students are comparing Mysterio to the likes of Thor and Iron Man. If either of these two characters had recently died, this would seem rather insensitive to just casually bring them up in passing conversation. This could also be used to support my claims of Thor surviving. Maybe I'm looking too much into the trailer, but I don't want to simply ignore these points either. It also doesn't make any sense given where his story arc seems to be going. Tony's arc has been about guilt and fear. Iron Man has always felt guilty for his wrongdoings and he has tried to right them. This was the main reason for his actions in Civil War. Tony's fear is of Thanos, the threat that he poses, and what he can and what he inevitably will do. Like with Thor, Tony's arc ends with Thanos' death. However, given that I think Thor will be the one to kill Thanos and not Tony, why would I use this as a reason for Tony staying alive? Well, because Tony ultimately just wants to sit down with Pepper and start a family. Tony stated his desire for a child in Infinity War. And also, do you remember this scene?
Come back here, Tony. I swear to God,
Pep.
come back here right now. Come back. Boss, we're losing her. I'm going to...
What was Pepper trying to say here? Was she trying to threaten Tony to get him to come back? Or was she trying to say that she was going to have a baby, perhaps? As in she's pregnant? Why she had that from Tony earlier in the movie? I don't know. But I think that Marvel is teasing something here. If she really is pregnant, Marvel is not going to kill off Tony, a soon-to-be father. This is a Disney-owned company, people. They don't have the balls. Tony's arc ends with him retiring the mantle of Iron Man and starting a family with Pepper. Once Thanos is dead, Tony can finally relax and feel no regret for his past and future mistakes. He has nothing to fear anymore. Killing him would feel cheap and somewhat rushed. Tony will receive the happy ending that he so rightfully deserves. Okay, now let me tell you why Cap is definitely, without a question, going to die in Endgame. Well, for one of the original Avengers and founders of the MCU has to go out so that this movie leaves an impact, and I've already eliminated Tony and Thor's chances. Second, and most importantly, the Russo brothers have stated that they are completing Captain America's arc. With the arc that has been shown and set up for Cap, it ends with him dying. Remember this line in Age of Ultron?
You two can still walk away from this.
No, we will.
I know you've suffered.
Captain America, God's righteous man, pretending you could live without a war.
Cap can't live without a war. So long as there is a fight to fight, Cap will be there to fight it. If this is truly Chris Evans' final movie as Cap, you cannot have Cap retire. That would go completely against his character. Look, I know the Russo brothers have been sharing Captain America Legacy videos on Twitter, and this may make things seem too obvious. But given the storytelling that Marvel has given us, I don't see a way that you can have this be Captain America's final movie and still have him alive. Retiring is totally against what Cap is about. He even says that in Age of Ultron.
Maybe I should take a page out of Barton's book. Build Pepper a farm. Hope nobody blows it up.
The simple life.
You get there one day.
I don't know. Family, stability. Guy who wanted all that went in the ice 75 years ago. I think someone else came out.
You all right?
I'm home.
Also, my third reason that Tony had a much bigger role than Cap did in Infinity War. By the looks of the trailers, the focus is back on Cap in Endgame, with him fully leading the Avengers again and giving out his classic monologues and speeches. This is Cap's time to shine. This is Cap's movie. Tony will still be a major character, but not as central as he was in Infinity War. This attention on Cap is perfect. We will see him in his final movie as a central character, and because the focus is on him, his death would be all the more impactful. Cap sacrificing himself to save the country and world he vows to protect? Dang, that will be a powerful and emotional moment. Look, the Cap fanboy in me doesn't want him to die, but the storyteller in me does. This would be the only true way to wrap up Cap's story. I'm prepared to wear my Captain America shirt to the theater with some Kleenex along with me because I know that when Cap dies, I will be bawling my eyes right out of their sockets. I'm sorry guys, it's his time. Marvel has to kill a major player, and I can't see it being anyone else but Captain America, aka Steve Rogers. Woo! I cut that pretty close to Endgame's debut in the theaters. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. As usual, if you liked the video, please leave it a like, and be sure to subscribe to the channel to support it and to keep up with what I upload. I know I've been straying away from the gaming stuff lately. I made a video, kind of a joke video before this that had nothing to do with gaming. And that's just because I've been kind of bummed out in the gaming content recently. I still have a huge passion for gaming and Nintendo. They're my top passion ever, but my passion for them in terms of video making, I just don't have that right now. I was making a DLC predictions video for Smash Bros. And I got super bored doing that. I just was not motivated. So I'm going to do more of these videos, trying to branch out, do other things, not just Marvel and movies. I'm going to try to branch out, do other things. But I still think gaming is going to be the center of this channel just because I'm the Nintendo nerd and that just makes sense. But yeah, I'm going to be doing more videos like this, but gaming content is not going away. It will be coming back whenever I think of a video I'm excited to make on that again. And I just want to leave you guys with one more thing. I'm going to be disabling comments for this video for a while, at least until I see Endgame, because I want to avoid spoilers at all costs. So in case there's like a plot leak online before the movie comes out, or people have seen it before I have, because I'm not going to be seeing it opening night, then I just want to avoid spoilers. So I'm going to be disabling comments up until I've seen the movie. It's not because, so yeah, I'm not disabling them because I'm opposed to critique or anything like that. In fact, I very much encourage it. It's just because I want to avoid spoilers. I don't really get much comments anyway, but it's just a precaution. Once the movie comes out in theaters, I'm going to be going off social media pretty much completely until I see it, because I'm really hyped for this movie. I don't want anything at all spoiled for me. Not even the tiniest little thing. So until then, I'm going to be disabling comments, but I'm just repeating myself at this point. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video, and once I have seen the movie, I will enable comments again. Not like it's going to matter, because I don't get comments, but see you next time.